Okay, scene of the crime number 3 today. This is just... Okay, now. About, I don't know, it might have been a year now. I got back, might have been longer. I wasn't on probation for anything. I was done with everything. This is Benjamin Moore paint store, which I've never been in my life. And I took Tammy and Shrek to get money for a bus ticket here. They were going to get a bus ticket. They had to go to probation in Houston. And a guy here was going to help them. And I remember I had my car parked right here. Tommy Nichols, whenever he's involved in crimes, multiple hundreds, they move him from Flower Bluff to this side. They rotate him. Normally when you're involved in crimes, targeting, beating up, normally you get fired. Corpus Christi, you get promoted. The CCPD, Texas ISIS, criminals, terrorists. So I was parked here, and I was inside with Shrek, and when I got out, there was a cop car right here, not even parked, waiting, just waiting in the street. And I had just gotten back from, that was like a 3-month, I was gone for a while in New Jersey. Now, I didn't know immediately who it was, but when I got out, I was this guy. And then Tammy and Shrek, who know him, Tammy said, she waved and said, when I got in the car, she said, that was Tommy Nichols. And I asked her, I said, you sure? Oh, yes, he waved. And so he will think nothing of, you're not supposed to track a person's phone. And I've kept this number. You know, I had the same number. I think it's still the same number. I don't change my number. I have friends that call over the years. See, he tracked that phone. During that year, I had to shut my phone off. Whenever I went out with my wife, we went to the carnival, I always kept my phone off. Because he'll follow you. He'll do it for years. This is so common. This is so common. And why does he follow people, John? Because he threatens that he's going to beat the fuck out of those people. And he does it. If he laid a hand on me, I would have defended myself. But many of my friends who are in criminal activity, they know that he's just waiting to send them away. And he's involved with it with these guys. So my view of them, I saw another Amber Alert. Cole PD, you are criminals. You are an absolute criminal organization. And when crimes from your offices are reported, we live in a day where that stuff is not supposed to happen anymore. So when he tracked my phone, I started keeping my phone off. I did that for maybe a year and a half. And my friend Bear, who doesn't live too far from here, Bear used to have, a rough life. And he's on the straight and narrow. But that cop, even till this day, when Bear goes into Flower Bluff, he has friends over there, that cop pulls him over. Till this day. No reason, nothing. Bear told me that. Nothing, just pulls him over. And he plants evidence, common knowledge. I gave the story of Jesse. See, all these guys know he does that. And you judges over there, most of them I think don't realize when they sign off. But I'm sure if they did an investigation, they would see. There was probably thousands of cases where the guy said, look, he planted that on me. They probably know he does it. And they probably said, well, try not to plant evidence anymore. You see, this is the other problem. I used to be a captain, as a temporary captain assignment over the years. And I'm familiar with problem employees. It was a different thing. It wasn't crime, so everybody knew. Albert Hoffman, who told me, I reported all this, Tommy would come into the camps and tell him. The guys would say, we don't have any warrants, and Tommy would openly say in front of everybody, I plant evidence on you. I'll plant it on you. Openly, public. And Albert used to tell me, the CCPD, they're a bunch of assholes, but they got histories of this. Histories. And it's so open. When he planted the Xanax on Jesse, who he's given notice to leave now, he later, when Jesse got out of prison, he saw Tommy, and Tommy Nichols has done it so many times that he forgets. And Jesse is the common law husband of Angel. Angel was managing the apartments for Tommy Nichols at 918 West Side in Corpus Christi, Texas, where the drugs are sold on a common basis. Tommy's the owner of the drug house. And Jesse told me a couple of times, if you interview, but they don't need evidence. You could have Tommy shooting somebody in the head on video. They say, okay, next. They have evidence. And Jesse told Tommy Nichols one day, he said, do you remember me? And Tommy said, no. And he said, I'm the one that you planted the Xanax on. I did 2 years. It's so common that Tommy said, oh, sorry about that. So common. You would think an officer would remember the people he planted evidence on. So this is number 2. This is one of that was illegal what he did, and he was sitting right there. But criminals commit criminal activity from sunup to sunset. I have still not given you the biggies. You say, well, John, no, because the other ones would be too much to implicate some of the guys who don't do that stuff anymore, but they did it with him. So you get tired of it after a while. Some of the people you've seen on my videos, they had to leave that area. Not because they were doing criminal things. They got on the right path. But they had to leave. Some of it might be because he knows he's done a lot of criminal activity with them. And, stuff that he does. They take the drugs from drug busts, Tommy Nichols and all these guys. And from what they're saying is then they resell all that stuff on the street. And that he's in it, they're all in it. That's what they say. But you would say, I think the CCPD, I think if they had the proof of everything, I don't think it would make a difference. You see what I'm saying? They're not concerned with law enforcement. So I saw another Amber Alert when I was coming here, and I hope they find those kids. But to me, that's a mock. That's a sham that they do. Like the law enforcement that you might see them do is sort of like a side job for them, a cover. That's how I see that. So this is where I began realizing the effect it had on me for him to be parking, following me. This is all the way on the other side of town. Now, whether he was stationed on this side or not at that time, I don't know. But for him to have been waiting for me, and I had a new vehicle. I had that vehicle at the time, which was new, that came back with me from New York. So he didn't wreck it. He just tracked the phone. Now, he probably thought he was tracking. I don't know if he still tracks it. It's illegal. They don't care. They're a crime unit. They're Texas ISIS. CCPD is Texas ISIS. And when he tracked the phone, parked there at the house, that went on for a couple years. He's been, and I thought it's like, you can't be out. And I'm trying to do the ministry with the guys, and I knew that. That's why I told the guys, I don't want you carrying any drugs. They always knew that, but he was looking for an opportunity. When I rode to the island, I just saw one of the guys in the bluff before I came here, who I took to the island that day. I went to Padre Island. This might have been 8 months ago, or I went to Padre Island with some of the guys. Now, Nichols must have saw me getting in my car, and we're going to just go swimming and do baptisms. And as I'm going to the island, one of the older lady was driving one of the patrol units, the cop unit, which they work hand in hand. And she sees me driving to the island. And she turns around on the highway to follow me, which was strange. And then she follows me. And I was dropping one of the guys off who I just saw, and he was going to stop at one spot. She's following me. And as soon as I stop, I wasn't parked. She gets out, and she was looking at me funny. And we got the guy's stuff out of the trunk, still had Henry, a few of the guys. She looked at me funny. Do you have a sticker for your vehicle? And of course I did have one, but you don't stop a vehicle, you don't follow them from the highway and ask him that. Tommy called her and said that this guy's drunk. And that's what she was looking for. And I wasn't. So it's ongoing. It's ongoing. And when he puts these guys on notice that I'm going to get you, some of them left because they're living in fear that he's going to plant shit on them, he's going to beat the shit out of them. That's a very common occurrence. Very common. And this is not a one-time thing. So this video is CCPD is equal to Texas ISIS.